Alright guys, welcome back to Frugal Homestead. So today I want to do a quick video about why we don't have a bunch of animals here on the Frugal Homestead. We have plenty of property here with 25 acres on this lot, and next door lot we have 0.8. We've got plenty of area to have a bunch of animals, but there's a very good reason why we don't have a bunch. Now most of you know we had chickens for the longest time in here, and it worked out really well. And through most of 2020, we thoroughly enjoyed having them. It was a good system, worked out well. But then feed increased by 20%, which made it not cost effective to have the chickens. It's actually cheaper to buy them. While better eggs can be purchased for a higher price, we have the lucky solution that our neighbors raise chickens and my Aunt Carolyn raises chickens. So by them raising chickens, we have the opportunity to buy higher quality eggs at a reasonable price for cheaper than we can actually feed our chickens and produce. That said, we're not opposed to having chickens in the future, but at this point in time, it's not cost effective. And we also have to maintain them when we're not here, because those of you who don't know, we have a backpacking channel. We go out and do trips and stuff, and we are the kind of people that like to take real good care of our animals, and we would want someone to be able to come over and take care of them, and I can't ask people to do that for free. So obviously you have to pay them, so that's another cost you have to factor in. But chickens are only one animal that we had heavy producers on this homestead. So at one point, this had been a rabbitry. As you can see by the Florida door there, it had ventilation through the door and multiple ports cut in the walls with fans. So they had an entire rabbitry here that was vented and heated and cooled year round. That's how much money we made off raising rabbits, because they paid for everything themselves. All right, Boy Scout troops, people training dogs, you know, our own personal consumption. The rabbits were a gold mine, honestly. And we didn't have to overbreed or have terrible living conditions, because every penny we made, we put back into the rabbits' comfort and their system. We had actually slides to where you could clean away their potty, nice and easy. And their byproducts of poop and stuff built our property up. A lot of our beds and ground that wasn't that good around here has been amended using rabbit poop. So that was an excellent endeavor. It has now been changed and used for something else. But once again, with rabbits especially, because our rabbits needed to be babied. So twice a day you'd have to be in there feeding them, haying them, cleaning stuff out, cleaning the poop and pee out. So even though it was a great system, you still had to have somebody here if we weren't here. Now they made money. They covered their keep by far. But it was also very time consuming, because you manually have to come out here and sell the rabbits and stuff. And you'd field 100 calls for somebody to buy 10 rabbits. I mean, it just literally was that bad. But let's get to the real reasoning why we don't have a bunch of livestock animals around here on our... So the simplest answer I can give you, honestly, is it doesn't make sense, as in financial sense. We are on the road to financial independence. We want to spend our time on our homestead, gardening, doing other things. I don't want to be a slave to have to go out and work 10 to 12 hours every day to make the money to pay for my homestead. I'm building a future to where I can go travel with my wife if I want to, or I can stay home and I can, you know, make YouTube videos and work on my homestead, build my garden up, possibly have some more animals in the future, spend time with my family, and just do the things that I want to do with life. In order to achieve that, we've got to give up things that are more of a luxury. Now, this will be argued till the day I die, but for example, a donkey. What does a donkey do other than eat? And you can say, oh, we let them free range and you gotta buy them hay in the winter. All right? Now, if you're growing the hay, that's fine. but you're gonna spend money in seed. You're gonna spend your time is your money, okay? Horses. I don't have time to ride horses. I don't have time to efficiently and effectively take care of a horse. A horse needs to be clean, groomed. It needs to have when we had horses before, we had our Amish buddies come down and deal with their teeth and deal with their hooves and all that stuff. And then if you want to be on certain places, you got to have them shoed. It's time consuming and not cost effective. Now, if you go into stuff and people say, well, have cows. Have you ever chased a cow? Okay, this property is super hilly. When cows get out, because my dad lives right over there, and we had cows. When they get out, they go down to the bottom and they stay there. It is a pain to chase them out. We do not live on flat lands where you can go get a quad and chase them back in. So having cows, they push right to the fence because they have attitudes, and they will go right to the bottom of the ravines, and then you got to try and chase them uphill, and a cow never wants to go uphill. It wants to go down the ravine to the neighbor's property. So just not a really effective. Now I have thought about goats just to clean up the property, but once again, you have to feed the goats. I mean, through the winter and stuff. And when you do that method of cleaning your property with goats, a lot of times you'll lose a couple trees because they'll gnaw at the bottom of the trees and the weaker trees will die. So that's not an option I really want. Once again, with all these though, there's the time constraint of being here taking care of them. That limits our ability to go places, see people, do things, because we have to have somebody here to take care of the property. So for us, and the path we're on, it's just better for us to not have these animals and these costs. Now, I've been a big proponent even before I was looking at, financial independence, to not having animals that are per se pets other than dogs. All right, because we have 2 dogs and they cost us a ton because we have them taken care of very well. Not counting, not food or anything, just vet alone. We spend $1,500 a year on our 2 dogs with their flea and tick medicine because they're in a very heavy environment for fleas and ticks. So that goes to show our commitment to them, and they live in our house. So we want them to have the best care possible, the best life possible. We don't make any money off our dogs, so that's a losing endeavor. I love our dogs, and they're like children to us, but at the same time, it's a losing endeavor. Now, I don't want to bash people that use their lives to take care of animals, all right? That is not my concept at all. The people that, help out the Humane Society and volunteer, or people that help out, when people bring them animals that have been left for dead or disregarded on abandoned farms and stuff, you people are awesome. But you're committing your life to taking care of something. So for you, that's very fulfilling. Whereas maybe you're not worried about the financialness of it because you find enjoyment out of that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If you want a donkey because you think that it's gonna make you happy or your kids happy, do it. Do what works for you. I'm just saying from a cost-effective ratio, there's nothing that will give me anything for a donkey. I have to pay to fence it in. I have to pay to feed it in the winter. It's one of those things where it doesn't provide me anything. I don't get anything back out of it, which is how I'm trying to live my life. I'm trying to live my life in a way that, not money oriented, but to where everything I do has purpose. I have limited time on this earth. I'm here and I want to spend as much of it as I can with my friends, my family, my wife. And in order to do that, all that time that I would take doing chores or running fence or chasing animals, feeding, watering, and all the other things that go with it is time I take away from all those things. So this is just my personal reasoning. My wife sometimes differs. She would like to have more animals at times, and I want to do a balance, but until we get to where we're going in our journey, it's just not something that I'm willing to actively take on at the moment. Now, everybody's going to be different, and I would encourage you to do whatever makes you feel best. But a lot of people have just asked, you guys have all this property, why don't you have animals? And now you know that we just basically don't want to have anything here that just feeds. If it's not producing or being helpful to us in some way, It's just not part of our plan. So with that said, I appreciate you guys listening to me rant and ramble. And with that said, make sure you go down and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you see all of our upcoming videos, and we will see you in the next one.